Duke Energy has sent out an alert to its customers that they need to conserve electricity because there is going to be a shortage just as the temperature is plunging all across the South. You need to be paying attention. The details are coming next. A doctor says that the med shortages are going to get a lot worse. We have that report as well. We also have a first-hand report from a Walmart manager on what comes next with the food shortages and what they're doing about it. We got that and a whole bunch more reports coming from you guys. Let's jump right into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report, where we're reporting the things that you're sharing, the things that you guys are seeing out there. These are first-hand reports from our many viewers on this channel. Please do keep sending them in. If you see something that you need to share with us, just leave a comment on one of the videos on this channel and use the word update somewhere in your note and let us know geographically roughly where you are. We want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. When it comes to retirement accounts, you have choices you need to make, and you choose investment professionals and such, but you also can invest in gold, silver, and physical metals, coins that are yours. And if you do that, we strongly recommend Genesis Gold Group. I've been recommending them for over a year now, and I'm hearing nothing but good things from you guys. And I love the fact that they have they do things based on their Christian principles and their biblical principles, which I personally appreciate, whether that's for you or not. There'll be a link at the end of the video if you want to find out more from Jonathan and his team. Phillips says, I live in upstate South Carolina. Our local energy company just sent out a text on my phone asking customers to minimize their electricity usage for the next few days due to cold winter weather blowing in. Prepare now for power shortages across America. Now, I don't know if you guys know anything about the weather and this time of year, but cold weather is kind of a thing in January, right? It's kind of a thing in February too. Fact is, through much of March, it's a pretty big deal too. We got some serious problems happening here, and the fact that we have a major power grid inside the United States, Duke Energy, that covers like 7 states, out there saying, we need you to conserve electricity because it's getting cold out there. Friends, in the dead heat of August, I could have told you that in January, it was going to get cold. I think everybody knew that it was going to get cold in January and February, but yet here we are where we need people to conserve electricity. It just boggles the mind. That's what it does. So, friends, we've been talking a lot about grid instability. We talked about this last year. We talked about the year before, where we've had serious issues with power outages and power close to power. We got off really easy last year because it just didn't get that cold. The year before it did get cold and we had serious problems, didn't we? Friends, it's getting worse. We have a lot more people in the United States using a lot more electricity. And we got a lot more people plugging in these massive power-guzzling cars into the grid. And we're not building new power plants. What we're doing is we're taking power plants that work offline and we're replacing them with power plants that don't consistently work. Power plants that don't produce as much power as the power units that we're taking offline. We have serious problems with our power grid, and it is only getting worse here in the United States, and it's happening over in Europe as well. Galen says, I want to put an extra vowel in there, but no. Or Gail N. says, I'm in Aiken, South Carolina, and I have not been out shopping for 2 weeks. I was shocked that the dairy shelves were nearly empty. All kinds of dairy. We saw that here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, here too, right? And the prices of everything has skyrocketed. Thank you for all you do. Rizzy says, I'm currently on pain meds, particularly narcotics, for severe arthritis. Last month, there was a 5-day delay in the pharmacy. All were out of pain meds pretty much across the board, I was told. I mentioned this to my doctor today. He said it's going to get a lot worse. I don't know what our government is thinking, but as of January 1st, 2024, all drug manufacturers are to cut the amount of narcotic pain meds they are producing by half. When you have a shortage of something, is the answer to cut production by half? Apparently, to the federal government, it is. So you take that one and decide on whether you think that's going to make things worse or better. But friends, if you are dependent upon certain kinds of painkillers, be aware that, yeah, the government did just step in and do something incredibly stupid. And it's going to affect a lot of people who are the most vulnerable in our population. That's the truth. It's infuriating. Doctor said he was worried that crime also is going to really increase as people are looking for meds and alternatives to their meds. Yeah, if you can't get narcotics from the pharmacy, even though you have a prescription in hand, you can't get access to that. Are people going to start looking for other sources of that? Or things that are similar out there? They very well might do that, and that may cause a lot of problems there too. So be prepared for an increase in crime. Northern says, Milwaukee went to Walmart. Store was down to 2 large extra laundry soaps. So laundry soaps having issues. We took both. Some over-the-counter medications were clearly fronted. Others were well stocked. At Walgreens, we waited almost 3 weeks for prescriptions for diuretic pills. 3 weeks late. Pharmacy told me they had trouble contacting the doctor as well. D-Freak says, Portland, Oregon. The 2019 legislature enacted SB 1019, which outlawed the sale of eggs from any egg producer with over 3,000 birds that employed cages. The bill gave egg producers until January 1st, 2024. Yes. You know, I've said this on a number of occasions. My prediction is the worst year ever. But I know some of you are like, you know, X year was way worse. But you get what I'm saying. Kind of in jest. But the worst year in a long time is here. And it just keeps getting worse every day, seems like. Yeah, Oregon is banning the sale of eggs from anyone who employs cages. Any large producers that employ cages. At the time of the passing of the legislation, according to the United Egg Producers, approximately 85% of all eggs produced in America were cage-laid. Now, Washington State as well as California already have these laws on the books, and they definitely did impact egg prices, not only in those states, but egg prices and availability of eggs across the United States. As in a weird twist of fate, I actually ran into one of the legislative aides that was actually instrumental in drafting this egg bill thing in California. I was in Thailand. I was riding a train and ran into some guy who worked for some Democratic congressman or senator or something like that at the state level, and and I was like, "What do you do?" And he said, and I said, "Well, just as long as you didn't draft that stupid egg bill." And he looked at me with like giant eyes. He's there, you know. It's like, "How did you know?" I was there like, "That's the only stupid thing that I know of that California's done recently." That was almost 10 years ago, I guess. That was crazy. Talk about just odd chances, right? In Thailand, right, on a train. Anyway, Highlander says, in Kentucky, the state retirement system is underfunded by about $22 billion. That's 2 aircraft carriers. Just to kind of put things in perspective, we could build 2 aircraft carriers for that much money. The roads are crumbling. Small businesses are closing left and right. More and more homeless are on the streets and sidewalks. Unemployment is high. The cost of living is going way up. Property taxes are skyrocketing in both the cities and rural counties. Mask mandates in most hospitals, and despite all of this, the governor of Kentucky just made a speech about how the state is stronger than ever. Don't believe your lying eyes, believe the government. No thanks. I hear you. I hear you. That's, you know, people who keep putting us sunny, rosy face. Some people are like, it's all doom and gloom. You're covering bad stuff. You're saying, well, friends, open up your eyes and look around. The truth hurts. And when we actually speak truth and not just like spouting some propaganda to prop up some party or another, things are pretty dire. People don't want to engage with that. People don't want to believe that. They believe that we can just keep papering over all of our problems in the United States. But there's only so many times you can kick that can before it doesn't go any further. Happy Camper says, I live in Van Buren, Arkansas. Not even 20 minutes away from Fort Smith. I also am seeing egg shortages. If Van Buren would only let me have chickens in my backyard. For living in an area where there are tons of chicken farmers, we have an egg shortage. You know, a lot of people do that. They're like, my state or our country produces a lot of X. Friends, we are in a global economy. If there's a global shortage, those eggs are getting packaged up and sent to California. It doesn't matter that they're being produced locally. They're not going to send them to your store. They're going to send them to California because they're making more money off of that. They have a contract with somebody out in California, or they're going to send them up to Maine, or they're going to send them somewhere else, right? We're part of a global economy, and as much as we'd like to think, well, as long as our country, our state, our county produces X, we're not going to have a shortage around here. And that's just not how it works anymore. Because there could be tons of grain in your area, and they'll just load up a cargo ship and send it over to some place that purchased it. And you might not have any grain left. And that's been a concern of mine, particularly with the grains, is that we don't have any policies to prevent farmers and the corporations that move grains around particularly. There's nothing to prevent China from just buying up all of our grain and then us having to go out and buy it from somewhere else, which is insane, but that's it. There's so many things like that. We've engaged on a free market system, globalism, but the problem is we're seeing the world is deglobalizing, and it's causing serious problems. Like I keep sharing the example of, you know, we have some component that's used in many different factories or something like that, but it's only produced in one factory in the world. And we're seeing so many different occasions where it's like this, where certain ingredients are only made in one factory in the entire world. What happens when you sanction that country? You have problems, right? You suddenly run out of that. And if you need that in order to keep your machinery running, you have a lot of problems caused by that. Jen says, Medford, Oregon, 36 count large eggs was $5.20 on Monday at Walmart. Today it was $8.23. Big jump. Our local Albertsons is very low on eggs today. Oregon. Did we just read something about Oregon? Might we know why Oregon's having a problem with eggs? Yes, we do. MC says, Mr. Poplar, check this out. I got some info for you about Walmart. My husband in Owensboro, Kentucky, just talked to the manager. She hates Wally World as well. He asked her why you have a measuring tape. She apparently had a measuring tape. He said, be honest. She said, we are shrinking the shelves to make the store look fuller. Coming from the Walmart manager. So tell us, Mr. Poplar, what is really going on, and also 60 eggs at Wally World went from $5 a month ago to $10 today. Also, they changed the Jiffy corn bread mix and shrunk the box. Just want to let you all know. So, yeah, there you have it. Straight from the horse's mouth. They are purposefully shrinking the shelves at Walmart to make them look more full. You know, there used to be a day and age where we would expand the shelves so that we could put more product on the shelves. And we'd ramp up production to put product on the shelves. Used to be where you'd not want to have the appearance of having product, but actually have product. And yet, we are moving into a dark age where the opposite is the case. Where instead of creating more product, we're going to create different shelves that will hold less product. We've been covering that for the last couple of years of them opening up the aisles and shrinking the shelf space, making the aisles, making less aisles. You guys have been seeing it all over the place, and yet that's what we're continuing to move towards. DDS says, Southwest Arkansas, no eggs in our Walmart yesterday and only a few packages of butter. Cat food is also scarce. I'm hearing more of you guys complaining about pet food, so we'll be keeping a closer eye on that. If you guys have things to report about pet food, cat or dog food, please let us know in the updates. Jen says, National Grids, which is an electric and gas company, has a notice on their website that on January 6th that they were at a planned power outage taking place for the better part of the day. This is for the Genesee region. The message states it is to make important upgrades and repairs to the reliability work in the area. I'm not sure if they just became aware that their grid isn't reliable, but seems like an awful time for a planned outage with a winter storm approaching and it being midwinter. Because obviously, when you have long-term problems, you choose to fix them in the dead of winter, don't you? And yet, that's what we're being told to believe. You can choose what to believe. You can keep believing the powers that be that keep telling you there's nothing wrong. We're just doing weird stuff. We're shrinking the shelves, and we're cutting the production of medications while we're telling you that there are shortages of those very same medications. Friends, it's not all adding up. There are things going on that they do not want you to be aware of. That is the truth. All right, friends, please keep your reports coming in. Thanks so much for being a part of this movement that we are a part of. And if you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold Group about what you can do with your retirement accounts, there's a link right here. If you want to check out another video from the channel, there's one right up here. Thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar, The Poplar Report.